Now in this section I want to show you how you can configure BGPs, and first of all I want to start some scenarios on external BGP relationships. You can see that I have put backbone 1 in AS4, router 3 and switch 2 are in AS36, router 1 is in AS1, and router 2 and switch 1 are in AS25. So I want to start creating the IGP first to make sure that routers have reachability to each other, and after that I want to go and create the sessions for BGP. And I'm talking about sessions because they actually create sessions to show neighborships. And you know that this session is on protocol TCP and on port 179. So let's go and start on switch 1. I want to remove the previous protocol, so let me see which protocol is here. You know, see that OSPF1 is here, so I remove this, no rather OSPF1, and I want to create rather EIGRP 100, and under EIGRP 100 no auto summary, and here show IP interfaces brief. I want to make sure that every interface is selected deliberately, so I'm going to have these network, and I'm not going to add loopback interfaces in this configuration. I want to publish them in BGP table. So this is the only network that I have added on switch 1. So let's save this. Let's go to switch 2, and you can see that I have router EIGRP here. So I go to router EIGRP 100, and I don't want to have this network such explicitly. Just want to show IP interface in brief, exclude unassigned, and make sure that only VLAN interfaces and loopback 0 interfaces are here, because I may add some other interfaces later. And I want to make sure that this is possible in network 110.166 is here as well. So the first result may be the same, and show IP protocol here tells me that I have EIGRP 100 and OSPF1. So let's remove both of them first. No router OSPF1. Show running config for section router EIGRP tells me that I have this. So show IP interface brief tells me that I need to add these to router EIGRP 100, and this is one of them. 12.1 is the other one, and network 110.111 is the other one. So I have every interface in place right now, and let's go to router 2, show IP protocol. I have OSPF1. I will to remove no router OSPF1, and for this show IP interfaces brief, and router EIGRP 100 is going to be created, no auto summary, network 10.0.25.2, 10.0.123, 2, and 10.0.12.2, and also 110.122. So these are added. Router 3 is the last one. Show IP protocol tells me that I have 2 running protocols, and show run section router EIGRP for later use. Also, I need to have show IP interface brief. So I go to configuration mode, no router OSPF1, no router EIGRP 100, now router EIGRP 100, and I have networks such as these added plus no auto summary. Now everything is in place. I have some loopback interfaces and I want to advertise them to EIGR to BGPs. So let's go and start creating the different ASs, and I start from backbone 1. I have AS number 4 here. Let's go to backbone 1, enable configure terminal, and let me check running config section rather EIGRP, and I guess I need to remove some commands here from EIGRP process, and that's going to be this. I have rather EIGRP 34, I have rather EIGRP 100, and I guess I need to remove both of them. Rather EIGRP 34 and no rather EIGRP 100. Again, I need to have rather EIGRP 100. Show IP interfaces brief tells me that I have these interfaces, so no auto summary first, and for networks I only want to have this one, and I have no loopback 0 interface here. Okay, I have neighborship after a while. Now to create the BGP, and I've actually starting BGP right now after 6 minutes of this session, I start with router BGP, and after router BGP I need to, let me exit this, router BGP, and after this I need to assign an autonomous system number. In this case this is number 4. So I hit enter, and let's check the commands under BGP process. You can have address families. We are going to talk about address families, I guess, in Ccnp. We have aggregate addresses, that is summary addresses. We have default information and default metrics. You can guess what they mean for BGP. We have distributed list. We have work with that. We have network, and you can guess what network means. I'm going to talk about this. And we have neighbor to create a neighborship. And these are the actual and the the most important commands here. And I want to talk about 2 commands specifically. First is network and second is neighbor. If you want to have some of your IP addresses in your BGP table, you should have that IP address in routing table first, and after that you can select network to distribute that into BGP table. I'm going to talk about this later in detail. And if you want to have neighborship with one router, you need to select neighbor command and you need to specify it. So there is no router advertisement, there is no multicast in BGP. Actually, when you create a neighbor using the neighbor command, it tries to send TCP send messages to that router, that IP address that they are specifying, and tries to create a neighborship using those commands. So I want to start neighborship command using the neighbor command, and after that you can see that you need to assign the neighbor address, that is 34 34 34 3, and this is the IP address of the router's 3's serial interface. And after that you need to tell to BGP process what AS is the AS number of that specific address. That is, you're going to select, let me find that command here, that is remote AS, and I know that router 3 is in AS 36, so I should assign AS 36. This is the only command that is necessary. After that you can have passwords, you can have some other options. We are going to talk about that later, but using this the neighborship is going to be created after a while. But on the other side I should have the same command. So I need to go to router 3 and go to configuration mode, start a BGP process using router BGP, and this is going to be AS36, and hit enter, and I need to assign the neighbor command 34 34 34 4. This is the, or no, 254 I guess, and the remote AS is going to be 4. So I hit enter, and after a while I should see a TCP session is created, that is the neighborship between the two routers, backbone 1 and router 3. And let me see if yes, that's it. The BGP adjacency changed and neighbor is up. So we have a BGP neighbor created here. So I have this, and I need to assign other neighbors as well. So let me go to router 3, because router 4 actually BB1 does not have any other neighbor, and the configuration is that. I go to backbone 1 in this and save configuration. On router 3 I am neighbor with switch 2, so I need to have this neighborship as well. Neighbor 10.0.36.6, and the remote AS is the same as my remote AS, that is 36. So I hit enter, and that's it. Now between AS36 and AS1 there are two connections. I can have neighborship between both of these routers and router 1, or I can select one of them and assign the neighborship with that. I want to start neighborship between router 1 from AS1 and switch 2 from AS36, because these two have a higher speed connection between these two. So I go and create this. So on switch 2 I go to configuration mode, start router BGP 36 command, and first of all I create the neighborship between 10.0.36.3, that is in my own BGP autonomous system, and I have neighborship between these two in VLAN 16. 10.0.16.1, that is in remote AS 1. I hit enter. Now let's continue the configuration in next section.